Whenever you see a question like this, with a right-angled triangle and an angle, you're going to be using trigonometry. To be able to do trigonometry, you need to use these three formula triangles. You need to learn these off by heart because they won't be given to you on the exam. Now, before I start the question, I need to make sure that I read it. It's asking me to find the length of side AB. That's this side here, so I'm going to call that x. Now I'm ready to start the question, and there are 4 very clear steps that I need to follow. Step 1 is to label the sides. In trigonometry, each of the sides of this triangle has a special name. We start by finding the angle. This side here, which is opposite the angle, is called the opposite. We can just put O. This side here, the longest side, is the hypotenuse. We just call that H. And then the last side here is actually adjacent. It's adjacent to the angle. We just call it A. You don't actually need to remember what adjacent means because it's always going to be the last side you find. So remember, the last one is always A. Now, it's absolutely crucial that you get these 3 labels right. If you get this wrong, it doesn't matter how good at maths you are, everything else will fall apart. So I'm going to give you some practice on labeling the 3 sides of a triangle. So here are some triangles for you to label. You'll need to make a sketch of them, labeling the right angle and the angle. Then label the sides O, A and H. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. Here are the answers. Now the second step is to cross out the unwanted side. This is a nice quick step. We want this side because it's going to help us because we've got a value for it. We want this side because this is the one we're looking for. This one, though, hasn't really got anything to do with the question, so we cross it out. For step 3, we need to choose the correct formula triangle from these 3 up here. If we look at our question, we've got A and H. These will only appear together in one of the 3 formula triangles. It's this middle one here. Now in the final step, we need to use our formula triangle. So I'm going to write it out like this. Now I need to use this triangle to make a formula. The side I'm looking for is this one here, x, and I can see that that's the A. So I'm looking for the A. So I cover it up, and the 2 that are left are next to each other. That tells me it's going to be a times. So I've got C times H. Now I need to write down what these 3 things really are in the triangle. So A, look, is x. C stands for cos, and it's cos 53. And H is 8. Now you're going to use a calculator to work this out. When you type this part into your calculator, it might open a bracket here. If it does, you need to make sure that you close it again. So typing this in and rounding to 3 significant figures gives 4.81. Remember, what we've just found is the length of this side here. So the units for this will be centimetres because it's a length. So we have 4 clear steps. Label the sides, cross out the unwanted side, choose the correct formula triangle, and then use it. Just out of interest, if you do this exactly as it says here and type this into your calculator exactly like this, but don't get the answer 4.81, that's telling you that your calculator is in the wrong mode and you'll need to change it to degrees mode. So we're going to do this question together now, step by step. The first thing you'll need to do is make a sketch of it. Then I'd like you to do step 1, label the sides. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. You should have this. I hope you remembered that because we're looking for the side AC, you need to label that X. Now try step 2, cross out the unwanted side. Remember, this is a really fast step. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. So we're looking for X, so we need to keep H. We know the 12, so we need to keep O, so we cross out the A. Now I'd like you to try step 3. Choose and write down the correct formula triangle. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. You should have realised that because we've got O and H, we need this one here, and you should have written it down. For the last step, you need to use your triangle to create a formula and then find the length of side AC using that formula. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. So we're looking for x, which is h. So we write down h equals and then cover it up in the formula triangle. Now we're left with O on top of S. That tells us that it's O divided by S. Now we need to replace these with what we know from the triangle. So H is actually X, O is 12, and S stands for sine, and it's the sine of the angle, which is 31. Remember, if your calculator opens a bracket here, you need to close it. We now type this into our calculator. Rounding to 3 significant figures, we get 23.3. This is the length of this side here, so the units are centimetres. Here's one for you to try on your own now. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. Here's the answer. Here's another one for you to try. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. Here's the answer. We're now halfway through trigonometry. You can find any side when you're given an angle and a side. Now we need to learn how to find angles, and we do this when we're given 2 sides. It's very, very similar to the method we've been using. So I want to find angle ABC. So the first thing is to find which angle this is. ABC is this one here, so I label it with my X. Now I follow my 4 steps. I start by labeling the sides. So opposite the angle is O, the longest side is H, and the other one is A. I then cross out the unwanted side. So I've got this one here, I've got this one here, but I don't have anything on this one, so I can cross this one out. Then I choose the correct formula triangle. I've got O and H, so it's going to be this triangle here, and I write it out. Now I use the formula triangle. I'm looking for X. Now remember, that's the angle, so that's sine X, so that's S. I cross it out, and I can see that it's O over H. Now S is sine, and it's sine X. O is 5, and H is 8. So up until this point, everything has been the same. Now we can do 5 divided by 8 in our calculator, and this will give us sine X, and that's 0.625. Now you might be tempted to stop here, but think about what you've done. We're looking for this angle here, and at the moment we have 0.625. There's no way that this angle can be less than 1 degree. Also, we've still got the sine bit here. So we need to get rid of this, and this is the big difference when you're finding an angle. To find the value of X, you need to press the shift button or the second function button, depending on which one you've got on your calculator, sin, and then equals. So make sure you've got this on your calculator screen to start off with, then press shift or second function, sin, equals, and you should get the answer 38.7 rounded to 3 significant figures. This is the size of the angle here, so the units this time are degrees. So here's a question for you to try where you need to find an angle. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. Here's part of the working. Once you get to this stage here, you need to remember to press Shift, Tan, equals. you should get 57.7 to 3 significant figures, and this is degrees because it's the size of the angle here. Here's another one for you to try. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. Here's the answer. Now, trigonometry is a topic that appears every year on the exam papers, and the only way to get good at it is to practice. So here are 5 questions for you to try. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. Here are the answers. I hope you didn't let E fool you. You're given all 3 sides here, so you can actually cross out any one of them. That will then mean that you can use 3 different formulas, and whichever one you use will give you the right answer. In exams, they often like to give you a trigonometry question in some kind of context. Here's an example of that. The method is exactly the same, just take care over this one and you should be fine. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. Here's the final answer. You should have found this side here of the triangle using trigonometry, and that's 21.01. You needed to realise that the height of the building was this plus the height of the man. So that's 21.01 plus 1.7. This gives you the total height of the building, and that's 22.7 metres. Here's another trigonometry question in a context for you to try. Press pause and have a go. When you're ready, press play. Here's the answer.